Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, September 15th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are our Devil card in its upright in combination with our Queen of Wands in its upright. Let's talk a little bit about the energy that we're experiencing right now. There is a combination of forces that we are going through, and I want to describe this best as the combination force that we're currently experiencing in relationality to feeling the weight of the retrograde, which can feel really, really intense. We are already going through a very, very intense retrograde process prior to entering this eclipse cycle. Really important to navigate right now as you're going through a lot of this energy, because what we're effectively seeing that's occurring with this eclipse, with this retrograde, is I want to describe it, and this is why I was calling it a cryptic eclipse to a certain extent. The space by which we typically move through eclipse energy is understanding that eclipses are effectively amplifiers. They intensify things. It's why we articulate upon the fact that the eclipses themselves aren't predictable, because they don't have a particular energy connected to them. They just effectively intensify whatever it is we're currently experiencing. Now, one of the rigors that we've been going through with this particular eclipse process is they came to us during an incredibly intense retrograde cycle. Every planet right now that is in Aries is in retrograde. It can create a lot of the work in the space of frustrations. It can create a lot, I want to say, working through a lot of temperamentality, right? Potentially working through a lot of that rigor and relationality to feelings. Being able to identify and recognize and moving forward with a compassion as it relates to a lot of that intensity. This is why we're talking about, I was describing this energy right now as like spiky, but also very intense, because I the best way I like to describe it is eclipse energy is an amplifier, and then you've got a lot of the retrograde that can create a bit of a sync feeling. So you've got like the sync energy, and then you've got the intensity of the eclipse. It can create a lot of frustration or a lot of kind of working through the context of the self in a way that can feel very energetically rigorous. But that's why I keep on seeing here. And this is what we're going to talk about. And I almost feel like this energy right now is probably the most intense that we're going to have prior to like moving into that new moon energy that we're coming into. And I'm going to tell you right now, that new moon is going to feel a lot like a full moon, given the fact that we're also going through eclipse energy throughout it, working into the context of being able to identify and recognize what one is trying to do in a greater fashion, right? This is a type of energy that's good in terms of building into context of comprehension, either working on the context of the self, being able to do something in a different way, being able to articulate in a way that feels like one empowers the self. Now, what you want to be avoidant of, that you want to be very careful about, I've been articulating upon this throughout this eclipse process, is not doing something in the space of temperamentality. Right? Like the difference, and I keep on getting here, like this is something that we were talking about heavily, which is the difference between being driven by passion and being energetically compassionate is the ability to effectively speak upon what effectively bothers us, or what effectively allows the space by which we can do something in a greater fashion. Now, for a lot of the energy right now, going through this retrograde cycle, this is why I'm talking about the fact that it's having a heavy impact across all of the frequencies right now. But we're going to talk specifically, we're going to start with the energy and separation, and we're going to move forward from there. For a lot of the energy and separation right now, one of the things that I was seeing, and you'll recall that we were speaking upon this the other day, has to do with working into the context of what one is effectively healing from versus what one is trying to do in a better way. Now, for a lot of the energy right now, this is what I mean when I'm seeing like the Devil card in combination with the Queen of Wands. It can create a lot of that energetic frustration as it relates to, and I keep on hearing, the difference between being driven by dispassion or compassion. Now, Dispassion is often when we're being driven by our passion, something that we do not because we can effectively articulate upon it, but something that we feel compelled to do, right? Something that we feel energetically emotional upon. And so one of the things that I keep on seeing that's happening right now for a lot of the energy in that modality is potentially putting words to what it is that they're healing from, being able to articulate upon it, being able to expound upon it. This could even be like I'm getting here for a lot of the energy right now in separation, articulating upon one's own frustration, being able to speak on something in a way that helps one feel fortified by it. Now, the relationships that are coming together during this time, this is what I keep on seeing. And remember when I said that I feel like we're moving into moon energy in relation, and as it relates to new relationship, because it's a continuation of the space of understanding and recognizing and working on understanding the self completely. Right. And this is what's so beautiful about some of this energy that we're potentially seeing right now that's working through the space. And I keep on hearing it's frustrated, but it's healing, because it's the observation of what one is trying to do in a better way that allows one to be able to kind of overcome the obstacle of the self, or overcome the energetic hurdle that one feels is within the self. So for a lot of the energy that we're seeing that's doing this work right now, and we talk a lot about this because the eclipses have a tendency of taking something small and making it feel like it's very energetically large, right? Like something that isn't an energetic big deal, that feels like it's very, very like overwhelming, or feels like it's very, very magnetized. And this is what we want to identify that we can do with this type of energy. When there's something that is small and it's not energetically important, then it's often the articulation or the understanding of something that we can work within the self in a greater fashion. But when something is energetically small and it's important, it's due to the fact that we're holding on to something in such a way that it helps us identify and recognize and affirm upon the meaning about it. And this is what we like to see with the Queen of Wands, right? Because the Queen of Wands is the articulation point of being able to recognize and identify what those standards are. So this is often, like I like to describe this, like this is often what it feels like when we're working on our healing journey with the combination of the Queen of Wands and the Devil energy, because what we're effectively identifying is when we hold our energetic standards to something, we can look upon something and observe where the work needs to go. If it's something that needs to happen internally, or it's something that needs to happen externally. And I feel like the significant thing that's happening in this process is helping us effectively communicate upon what's going on. Like I like to describe that. Like this is the beautiful energy of being able to energetically describe what's going on, or being able to articulate upon something in a better way. Now, for the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, and you'll remember these are those temperance partnerships that we talked about that were coming together from around the time of the Uranus going retrograde up until the time of the solstice period. Can I get one card to clarify? We've got here the Three of Wands in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about this Three of Wands and its reversal, because for a lot of the energy that we're seeing with the Three of Wands and its reversal, I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, like I want to describe this here as working into the context of the self, being able to articulate and define what one is trying to do better. You know, one of the things I keep on seeing for a lot of those relationships that are moving deeper into divine union right now. And remember when I said that there's a lot of that, like these are very strong energetic partnerships, because it's a lot of that feeling of trying to move deeper into something while also feeling really, really energetically intense upon the self, or working into that energetic intensity within the self. This is like, I want to describe the retrograde energy in combination with the eclipse and in combination with the fact that the moon is currently in Cancer, it creates a lot of that. I want to describe it as a lot of that energetic internal contemplation, being able to articulate upon something that one is trying to do in a better way. But everything we keep on seeing that for a lot of these relationships right now, I feel like a lot of those relationships that are articulating upon that, this may be effectively talking more about the past in a certain way, or being able to talk about the relief or the release that they're experiencing right now in relationality to being able to articulate upon a past, but not taking it energetically personally. Right? That's what I keep on seeing that's happening right now for a lot of those relationships that are coming deeper into partnership. I keep on getting it's the observation of being able to speak towards something in such a way that it doesn't hurt anymore, right? It's like almost like a bit of that space by which one is able to appreciate something given the fact that they've moved away from it. And so that's what's interesting about a lot of those relationships right now. It's like the conversation of being able to identify and build upon having some level or space of perspective upon something. Now, this brings us to a lot of the energy that's deep within divine union right now. Clarification, fourth and fifth cards in our 5-card spread. We have here our 5 of Swords in its upright in combination with our Chariot card in its upright. So for the energy that's deep within divine union right now, and this is what I meant in relationality to like everybody, like the retrograde is impacting everyone right now in relationality to the fact that we're going through the eclipse process as well. Working through a lot of that energetic heaviness, like working through a lot of that intensification. For a lot of the energy that's doing that work right now, I keep on seeing that for the energy deep within divine union, it's working through the space of potentially trying to make plans or trying to build upon what those plans are, but in such a way that allows the context of being able to do something in a better way. You know, the one thing I want to keep on describing that's happening a lot with this eclipse energy right now is it feels very much like stop start. Like that's the best way I can describe it. It can feel like things are moving and then they're not. Things are moving and then they're not. There's a lot of that energetic back and forth to a certain extent. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, being able to like work through this energy and find the consistency point. Remember how I was articulating before that just effectively like finding that consistency point, being able to do something in such a way that allows one to be energetically consistent, like that in itself is a major accomplishment in this type of energy. So if you're going through that right now and you're just working on like being able to build a point of consistency through a lot of this intensity, I want you to give yourself a lot of energetic credit because it's not easy. Because especially I keep on getting like, and this is what's hard with like the 5 of Swords in combination with the Chariot card. I like to keep on describing it as like, it's like the energetic drag energy of a past that's hard not to look upon, but one is working towards doing something in a better way. Like this is why we keep on seeing and understanding, and I keep on getting the message that's coming through right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union is understanding that the shape of trauma is often things that don't make sense. Right? That's what we effectively see that's happening right now. It's like a lot of the energy that's working on resolving some energetic trauma. And I keep on getting the same messages coming through for a lot of the energy doing that work. You know, trying to find sense in something that is energetically traumatizing can often feel like it's painful for us because it's the observation that the reason something is energetically traumatizing is because, and again, this is what we articulate upon as it relates to dispassionate energy. Right? Dispassionate energy is often articulated upon something that is fueled not from a state of logic, but from a state of serving the energetic passion. And so the ability by which we are able to identify the fact that often the trauma is something that is energetically dispassionate, it doesn't allow the context of being able to articulate or describe what is effectively occurring. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, like that is the force by which they're able to heal from some deep trauma. right? And I keep on seeing like that's the thing with this Aries energy. Like Aries, all these planets retrograding in Aries will often articulate upon the things that come up that bother us. But even in the description or the ability to articulate upon the fact that something doesn't make energetic sense, that is a space by which we can release it and move on to something that feels like it's more supportive and healing. Continuing to get clarification between our Devil card in its upright in combination with our Queen of Wands in its upright. We've got here the Page of Wands in its upright. Now, this is really important too, because you'll recall that we were talking about the fact that this type of energy can bring forth a lot of inner child healing. And the thing with the inner child healing that we have to understand is inner child healing is not about what you were doing when you were 4 or 6. It has to do with any context of the self where you did not know oneself as well as one knows oneself in the present. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, working in that way, being able to do something more energetically effectively. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, that ability to articulate upon what one is trying to understand about the self. And this is what I meant about some of the relationships that are potentially starting to come together during this time. I keep on hearing they're very, very self-referential. And why are these relationships coming together right now self-referential? Because they're doing the healthy work in understanding that when we work to know ourselves energetically completely, we become the force of strength. We become our own, like we become the energy that would have protected us from things in the past, right? And that's why I keep on seeing that there's something kind of beautiful about this energy that's going through right now. Because for a lot of this work, I either see 2 different modalities that are happening right now for the energy in separation. There's either energy in self-separation that's doing the work to heal the self for the sake of the inner child, of the inner person, the internal world by which we're able to identify and work through something. And I can almost hear the energy saying in separation, you did not deserve to energetically go through that, right? Like it's the space by which we're able to articulate upon something that we're working to do in a better way. So everything I keep on seeing that's happening in that modality, I keep on hearing there's a lot of that energetic release that's happening, but the release is happening because they're identifying and finding their standards in separation. Or these are relationships that are coming together right now. I keep on hearing like they're introducing each other to their standards is what I keep on seeing. I want to show you these cards together. Like, look at this. We've got the Queen of Wands with the Page of Wands, right? So it's the observation of being able to articulate and understand their own energetic standards, working on the understanding that, again, I keep on hearing, when we articulate upon our standards to one another, and it's something I keep on hearing, and we're also healing from the illusion of rejection, it allows the space of not potentially projecting onto one another. And that's what I keep on seeing is really beautiful about those relationships. They're potentially having I almost hear the energy that's saying, I'm understanding myself to save you the expense of having to move through one's own personal lack of understanding, because this is what I meant about some of these. I keep on hearing that there's energy in separation that's healing from spaces or places that are articulated upon self-deception. And what do we mean? What is self-deception? Self-deception is the lack of understanding of the self that often, I keep on saying, when we don't understand ourselves, it can be very energetically painful for those that are around us, because that's those moments that, I keep on seeing, the difference between our words that match our action, which often creates a bit of that quagmire in relationality to what it is that we're trying to do more effectively. But that's what I meant in relationality too, to the fact that we're going through a lot of this Cancerian energy. And this is why I said this is probably going to be the most intense energy that we experience as we're navigating this particular eclipse retrograde cycle. Because the thing with Cancer energy is working on the space of heightened sensitivity or feeling very, very energetically sensitive about things. This brings us to the energy that's moving deeper into union right now. Clarification between our Queen of Wands in its upright and our Three of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, we've got here the World card in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now. Because for a lot of the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, one of the things that we're identifying or recognizing has to do with the shape of this retrograde. It's like I keep on stressing that one of the things that we're experiencing with this retrograde is feeling like the lack of ideal, right? It's like feeling the space by which something feels less than ideal. But everything that we keep on seeing, and I keep on seeing, like, for the energy that's working through situations or circumstances that feel less than ideal, what is it that we do to help one another? I keep on hearing, we do our best to kind of raise that up. We do our best to try to keep something into a space that allows one to feel energetically sustainable through it. And so I want to describe that for a lot of the energy that is moving deeper into partnership right now, a lot of those temperance relationships, being able to articulate upon, being able to significate or speak towards something in such a way that one is able to find a deeper meaning to it. I keep on seeing that for a lot of these relationships, being able to speak towards that force of intensity, being able to kind of build into that context of doing something in such a way. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing this work right now, or building into the deepening of the partnership. I keep on hearing it's like the conversation and the appreciation in terms of how much they work towards doing that. I keep on hearing, despite the energy around the self that makes it feel like counter oppositional to a certain extent. So I keep on seeing like there's a lot of that feeling or that conversation that's occurring. And you'll remember that we spoke about this in the last reading that we did. Almost, I want to describe it as, like, remember when I said, yeah, like last time we did the reading, the energy that was trying to articulate to one another that they weren't trying to read into, like putting something from the past into the present. Because everything I keep on hearing with a lot of that energy is the understanding of the relief that they're feeling that's moving them deeper into partnership, because they're experiencing something energetically exceptional between the selves, or within the context of the relationship as a whole. Now, this brings us to a lot of the energy that's deep within divine union. Clarification between our Three of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Five of Swords in its upright. Clarification coming through right now with our Hanged Man energy. Now, the one thing I want to describe with like the energy deep within divine union is, I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union, I keep on hearing like working into the context of consistency is the energetic gift that they give to one another. Because for a lot of the energy doing that work, I keep on seeing like working through something in a certain fashion, being able to articulate upon what is allowing for a lot of the space by which they're trying to do something. I keep on seeing that like there's a bit of the thing about this type of energy that we're experiencing. And I'll just keep on. Remember, I was saying that for the energy deep within divine union, it often feels right now like I keep on describing this particular season as like the attack of the minor inconveniences, right? Potentially a bunch of little things that often feel like they get to us, a bunch of little things that often feel like they become very pervasive. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, being able to articulate or define or being able to do something in a better fashion. I almost feel like this is the energy that's deep within Divine Union that's working on fortifying their own energetic conversation or communication to be able to articulate upon what it is that they can do better versus what it is that they're trying to energetically let go of. Because I keep on getting like, and that's the thing about this retrograde cycle right now. I want to like, and I feel like it's giving me the equal amplification of working through energetic minor inconveniences, but also being able to release a lot of energetic trauma, because it's the space, I keep on hearing, it's a space by which we're able to identify or articulate upon something, why something energetically bothers us, that allows us to be able to do something in a better capacity. So everything I keep on seeing in relationality to that type of work, I keep on seeing it's fortifying, but it's frustrating, right? It's the identification of talking about something that frustrates the self that allows one to be able to do it more effectively. Continuing to get clarification between, and this is what we have to be watch out for right now. I'm going to tell you right now, the funny thing about this, I need to point this out because these cards right now are so intense. I know that these cards here look more energetically intimidating, but the thing that is actually intimidating here has more to do with the energy that we see on this side, because one of the things that we're identifying, and we're going to go through this. We're going to go through this a lot. And that's why we're going to keep on talking about it. When we're going through Uranus and Gemini cycles. Uranus and Gemini cycles can often bring out the fact that something that feels energetically supportive to the self versus something that feels energetically detrimental for the self can often look very similar from the outside, right? Being able to do the work to be able to tell the difference between something that feels like it's nourishing versus something that feels like it's not is often the ability to speak towards what has effectively changed. And that's what I keep on seeing in relationality to a lot of the cycles that we see that are coming through these experiences right now, or a lot of the things that we're working through. Because I keep on seeing that it's a conversation built upon or based upon energetic refinement, which is the conversation that allows us to feel energetically fortified by being able to articulate upon the progress we've made upon things, right? Something that we're working on doing in a better way, something that we're able to identify that we're trying to energetically work upon or change, that almost allows the context of a breakthrough. But I keep on seeing that the thing that can sometimes grow weary with this much retrograde energy occurring is there's a big tendency in this type of energy to want to over internalize upon things, right? The space by which one works towards something and wants to take something too energetically personally. So for a lot of the energy right now, I'm effectively seeing it's just, I feel like it's working towards that healthy resolution, or it's working towards that feeling of restoration. But it's also, I keep on seeing like articulating upon the conversation, right? Continuing to get clarity between our Five of Swords in combination with our Chariot card. Yeah, we've got here the Queen of Swords and it's upright. We've got some heavy energy right now, especially with the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords here. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. Because it's basically a conversation in relationality to working towards the space of our standards. And I keep on seeing when we have compassion towards our standards, we allow for, I keep wondering, when we have compassion towards our standards, we allow for the space of understanding upon things, is all I keep on seeing. There's a bit of that. I keep on, and I feel like that's like the work that I see that is happening right now in terms of some of those conversations. because when our standards are being upheld, it doesn't create a feeling of energetic provocation. But when we feel like our standards are being pushed upon, that's when our standards become boundaries. And so one of the things I keep on getting with a lot of this energy that we have to be conscientious about is there's a tendency to want to polarize in this type of energy, which is not effectively surprising because we've got, like I said, this is a very anomalous eclipse cycle that we're going through right now. We're going through the combination force of the retrograde with the eclipse, right? So I told you, it's like a lot of that intensification, but then a lot of the feeling of energetic heaviness that is being amplified by the eclipse process. When we're able to hold compassion in the space of our energetic polarities, we're able to articulate upon what feels like it's energetically polarizing, is what I keep on getting. There's something very significant upon that. And I keep on getting it's the conversation worth energetically having. And that's why we see, I keep wondering, that's why we see all of these wands here. Clarification between our Page of Wands in combination with our World card in its reversal. We've got the Two of Wands in its upright. So let's talk a little bit about this energy here, because for the energy in separation right now, I think one of the things that is really significant has to do, and remember when I said this is a very intense, this is a very intense cycle that we're currently working through. It creates a lot of that space. And I remember I've been saying this for a while right now. The fact that we've got Mercury in the fact that we've got Mercury going through in Virgo while going through Virgo season can create a lot of over internalization on the self, particularly with Jupiter in Cancer, right? Which also creates a lot of that feeling of heightened sensitivity. And then we've got the fact that the moon is in Cancer. So that's more of the space by which we can feel a lot of that sensitivity as it relates to our own emotions. So being able to articulate upon how we're feeling. I think it's what's interesting about it right now. I almost see like the energy in separation working on the space of not allowing the energy to overly get to the self, right? Not allowing the energy that feels like it wants to over internalize upon the self to energetically get to the self. Or I see this as like new relationships by which they're talking about the intensity of the energy that is effectively surrounding them. And the other thing I keep on seeing right now, and this is what is a little bit more frustrating, is when we're not in tune with this type of energy and it allows the space of it getting to us, then it can create, I want to describe this, like it can create a lot of like, I want to describe it as like, what was that about? You know what I mean? Like the space by which another person articulates upon something or allows the passion to fuel something instead of being able to communicate upon it is what I keep on seeing. And that's the thing I want to like describe that is potentially like reaching some kind of energetic closure point at this time. Because I would not be surprised if there aren't cycles that are closing right now in relationality to the identification of dispassion versus compassion. And what is the difference between dispassion versus compassion? Dispassion is doing something fueled entirely upon the context of the emotions, right? Doing something in the space of being energetically emotional often does not articulate upon something that makes sense, right? Whereas when we're being compassionate, we're able to speak upon something. We're able to talk through it. We're able to walk towards it in a way that it doesn't allow for a volatility point, even if it feels energetically sensitive. So everything I keep on seeing here, I feel like it's a lot of the space by which one is able to amplify and articulate what one is trying to have meaning towards. So for a lot of, I want to tell you right now, like, this is saying to me that there's either a lot of energy right now in separation going through some very healing processes, but it's like I keep on getting it's healing, but it's like it's painful healing. It's like the healing that requires a lot of things to effectively come up in the process of it, right? Because often when we're articulating upon what it is that we're healing from, we identify what it is that we could do better versus something that we didn't energetically deserve. And so that's where I keep on seeing that there's a lot of energy that's potentially laying through those healthy boundaries. While at the same time, we just keep on I keep on getting that this is potentially the closing out of energetic cycles. You recall that we were speaking upon the fact that when we're working through something in such a way, it's the identification of what time can and cannot heal. Because when we're not in a space by which time is able to heal something, is often the space that we have a lot of energetic emotions upon something, but we identify that a standard was there. And so this is what I keep on seeing in relationality to those stabilizing conversations, the conversations that feel like they're energetically fortified via being able to talk about something in a way that allows one to do something more energetically effectively. So this is what I like about some of these relationships that are coming together right now, because like for a lot of those relationships coming together right now, I keep on getting, it's like the conversation of what doesn't make sense, right? It's the space by which one is working on understanding or doing something more effectively that allows one to be able to like build into the context of healing. And so everything I keep on seeing right now, and that's the thing we have to be wary of with the energy that we're experiencing right now, is it can create a lot of, like, the best way I can describe it is like polarized distortions, if you will, like something that feels more internalized upon the self, but has to do with the sensitivity to like the magnification of the polarity that we're experiencing with the context of the retrograde, right? It's confusing energy. Okay, like I just want to say, if you're feeling confused within it, it's because the energy itself is confusing, is the best way I can describe it. Continuing to get clarification between our world card and the Hangman. Can I get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Cups in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit. There's a lot of, and we're going to talk a little bit about this right now, because I do see the fact that masculine and feminine energy are experiencing this energy in different ways right now. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. For feminine energy right now, I keep on seeing one of the difficulties that we're recognizing and identifying in relationality to working through the context of this type of energy is I keep on identifying it's doing the work in being able to articulate upon something that one is trying to do in a better way without getting too emotional about it, is the best way I can keep on seeing. And the thing about this type of energy right now, and I want to kind of articulate this, it has to do with the fact that the moon is also in Cancer, right? So we've got a lot of that force of intention that we're experiencing with the emotionality that Cancerian moons can sometimes bring out. And at the same time, working through the fact that Jupiter's also in Cancer. So we've got a lot of that amplification that we're currently going through with the eclipse cycle, which can create a lot of, I keep on hearing like creating a lot of that intensity of feeling. But I keep on seeing that a lot of the intensity of feeling has to do with being able to recognize and identify what it is that we're trying to do in a better way, right? It's like a lot of that work that we're able to identify and speak towards. So for a lot of the energy that's in separation right now, being able to kind of, I keep on seeing like going through the hurdles of the self, like recognizing or identifying one's own energetic limitations or things that one is trying to do in a better way. This is what I'm going to keep on saying. If you're feeling this energy and you're feeling really, if you're feeling like really, if you're getting like really, really hard on yourself in this energy right now, that's what I meant in terms of not allowing oneself to feel overly internalized within it, right? Like not letting it get the better of you or not letting it get overly internalized upon it. Because I keep on seeing that space. Remember when we were articulating upon the fact that we bring compassion to things in order to heal them more effectively? I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy and separation, starting with the compassion of the self, right? When we start bringing compassion into things, then it allows us to be able to articulate upon what our standards are. So I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy, doing that work, it's like, I keep on feeling like it's almost like it's talking towards what effectively bothers the self, but also in a way that I keep on getting is allowing oneself to do something even better upon it. And that's what I meant about these relationships that are coming together right now. Like, you remember when I said that these relationships are incredibly self-referential? Like I keep on getting like there's a lot of intense healing that's potentially coming forward through this energy, this new energetic cycle. Because I keep on hearing it's like the self-referential aspect of something, like what one is trying to do in a better way, like working on the self that allows all things to be possible. So for a lot of the relationships that are, I keep on seeing like working through this, it's like, I keep on getting, it's a dual force of being able to articulate and identify what that is, but also healing from the confusion of situations or circumstances that, like I keep on getting like didn't make sense, or one is trying to identify or recognize like or working through an energetic hurdle in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Now for the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, clarification between our hangman and our Queen of Swords. Yeah, we've got a lot of 5 energy out right now. We've got double 5s. And if you have an opportunity, make sure that you go to take a look at the stack with today's spread, because the thing with 5 energy, and I want to kind of stress this, is I would not be surprised right now if there's energy that is moving deeper into divine union, articulating upon what it is that they're trying to resolve or work through, versus what doesn't feel like it energetically serves the self to navigate, is what I keep on seeing. And that's what's so intense about this double 5 energy that we're seeing here. Because the thing about the double 5 energy is, and I remember when I said that the issue that we're often navigating with a lot of this energy that we're currently experiencing has to do with potentially compounded problems, or working on something in such a way that one feels a lot of that force of intensity towards something. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, a lot of that double 5 energy that we're seeing in the spread right now, for those relationships or those temperance partnerships that are moving deeper into divine union, I want to describe this as like it almost feels like they're letting each other know more about one another, is what I keep on seeing. Like I keep on hearing like there's a conversation that is occurring in relationality to being able to articulate or identify what one is trying to what one is what like I keep on hearing like the full extent of what another person is healing from, is what I keep on seeing. Like I keep on getting like, remember when I said that those relationships They were almost like guarding their heart space to a certain extent, or they were being very energetically protective of the self. But that's why I keep on seeing that there's something about this retrograde cycle that they're articulating to each other just how much they mean to one another, is what I keep on seeing, specifically and particularly because I keep on hearing like these are the temperance relationships that are articulating upon finding exceptional energy, which is the space by which, and I keep on hearing like the things that they thought or they knew to be true have changed profoundly in the wake of meeting one another. And so everything I keep on seeing there, like it's like a breath of fresh air, but I keep on seeing it's also very triggering because I keep on seeing that in the context of them effectively meeting one another, they're articulating upon everything that they were afraid of in terms of what they were going to find in those relationships. There's like a lot. I keep on hearing it's like they're finally. I keep on hearing they're finding the force of intention to finally tell each other just how much they mean to one another because they're articulating upon the fact that they'd never met anyone like one another before. Now this brings us to the energy that is deep within divine union, and that's why I keep on saying, this type of energy right now, deep within divine union, is very difficult because we talked a lot about the fact that this is the frustration that effectively fortifies, right? I would not be surprised if you're deep within divine union right now and you're working through something in such a way that you're articulating upon, like I keep on hearing, like working through pathwork of determination, like building into something in such a way that it feels like, I keep on hearing, if it feels like everything takes extra effort right now, it's because that's the energetic vibration, right? It's like this type of energy, like being able to move through things, it feels like heavy lifting. It feels even more difficult to a certain extent. But that's why I keep on seeing that a lot of the energy doing that work and not allowing something to get the best of them, or not allowing it to, like I keep on hearing, not allowing it to like overly internalize upon something, but just kind of move through it. And this is what I meant and this is what I have to stress right now, because there's something very important that I'm notating in this type of energy right now. For feminine energy, I keep on seeing it feels more like the conversation or the space by which we identify and recognize what our energetic standards are, to be able to articulate and define how to do something more energetically correctly. And so everything I keep on seeing, like in that work or in that space, I feel like I keep on seeing it's like, how do I describe this best? Like, because it's so invested, or it's so heavy. Like I keep on seeing it's like the space by which one is able to articulate upon how one feels about something is all I keep on seeing there. It's like I keep on feeling like it has to do with like working into the context of being able to articulate upon one's own sense of intention. And so for a lot of I keep on feeling like, I'm just getting some kind of strange message about this like energy, that it feels like it's having more of I feel like it's having more of a waveform impact on energy that's more within feminine, bearing in mind again this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. So I keep on getting, for like feminine right now, it's more like a waveform. For masculine, it feels more like something that has a tendency of making one feel like one wants to energetically revert back into something, is what I keep on seeing, right? And I keep on getting, because it's the amplification of being able to not be energetically triggered by the extent of the retrograde energy, right? And so how do I describe this best? for feminine, and it has to do with taking things on, over internalizing upon things. So I keep on getting some kind of message that states that, like, when we over internalize upon something, feminine has a tendency of going into a wave form, right? Which is effectively the space by which one moves back and forth through something. So the ability to stay energetically stable through that is how we effectively work to heal our inner child, right? We don't allow the energetic waveform to get the energetic best of us. For masculine, it's not, I keep on seeing, it's not allowing the context by which one like moves back into energetic child. It's like it's not the regression point, because the thing is, you have to understand, energetic children are more ruled by energetic passions, right? So when we're not able to communicate upon passions and we revert back into child state, we become more energetically passionate, but not in a way that we can communicate upon it. We're being ruled by our passions. So that's the thing I would also say to be a little bit conscientious about in this energy, because it's like, it's not only the fact that the energy is confusing, but I feel like it's impacting masculine and feminine in different ways. And I need to figure out how that is happening, but I think that it has, I got to get to the bottom of that. Oh, I think it, yeah. Okay. I think it just has to do with the fact that, like, with so many, I keep on getting like, with so many planets in retrograde, it can bring a lot of energetic anomalies. It's like there's so many planets in retrograde right now. It can bring out a lot of energetic anomalies, even in the way by which we're experiencing the energy. Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Wands in its upright in combination with our Queen of Cups in its reversal. Yeah, there's our Knight of Pentacles in its upright. And that's what I mean. And like, that's like, this is really important. When I say I want you to make sure that you're taking things right now with a sense of proportion, has to do with the fact that we're working through really, really energetically, like very emotional, sensitive energy, which is the space by which we don't allow ourselves to be energetically triggered. Again, observing, not absorbing, being able to articulate and define what one is trying to do in a better way in order to effectively identify like how to navigate a circumstance, or what to do in relationality to something. Now, I got to tell you right now, this is what I meant in terms of, I've got two different modalities that are happening right now for the energy that is in separation. For the energy, like, you know, for some of the reason I'm laughing a little bit is because for some of the energy in separation, like I almost keep on seeing that there's almost something about coming towards one another in the quagmire of this energy. That's almost like the energy itself is self-referential, right? I keep on getting that I keep on getting that there's something about these relationships where and where there's like, I keep on getting they're ironic relationships, or there's something where they're articulating upon the irony of things, because I keep on seeing that it's the space by which they're identifying, like, I keep on like, I almost like, it's like I can't even describe the level or degree by which another person is feeling someone out, is how I can describe it best. Like some of these energies right now in separation, it's interesting because I see the energy effectively like feeling each other out, because the energy itself, remember I said there's this deep space by which like we're working through the fact that the energy itself feels like it's so polarizing. While for the energy in separation that's healing within the self, I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy that's in separation, feeling grounded upon the self. Like this is like, I keep on feeling like I hear this energy almost like building upon the space of feeling proud of themselves. But the reason that they're feeling energetic pride within something has to do with the balance that they're effectively finding in the midst of something that I keep wondering, in the midst of something that would have previously knocked them over, or something that would have previously been something that they were like running towards instead of holding energetic standards upon. So everything I keep on seeing right now for in separation, and I keep on getting the same message, which is it's not your emotions. You're not too emotional if your emotions make sense, is what I keep on seeing. Right? Like if there's something that one can articulate upon and one is able to feel emotionality towards it, then it's understanding the shape of our emotions. And I keep on getting, this is how we fortify our emotions, right? If we can make sense of our emotions are fortified, because it's the difference between the rightness of emotions versus being energetically emotional. And when we're energetically emotional, we do things that don't make energetic sense. Continuing to get clarification upon this, between our Queen of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Five of Cups in its upright. Clarification, please. We have here our Page of Pentacles in its upright. So there's something I keep on seeing. There's something really important to recognize and notate in relationality to the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now. And a lot of the energy that is moving deeper into divine union is potentially articulating on or speaking towards what it is that they're trying to do more effectively. There's something really important about that work that I'm seeing. And a lot of the work that we're seeing in that modality has to do with, I keep on getting the ability to I feel like it's interesting. It's these temperance relationships that are revealing more of themselves to one another, right? It's like I keep on feeling like it's a space by which they've come to trust one another enough that they can articulate even more about themselves. But I keep on getting that was a lot of the energy that was almost articulating and defining to one another, like working through the retrograde energy and being able to and I almost feel like it's the space by which they're talking to each other about their fears, or they're talking to each other about what they were energetically afraid of. But that's why I keep on hearing they're like fortified within the fear, because it's the space by which they're able to articulate to one another that articulates the fact that they're experiencing or finding exceptional energy. This brings us to the energy deep within divine union. Clarification between our Knight of Pentacles and our Page of Pentacles. We've got, oh my gosh, we've got the King of Pentacles in its upright. Oh, so let's talk a little bit about the energy right now that's going through, like working deep within divine union, because the difficulty or the hurdle that we're encountering or experiencing deep within divine union, you'll recall what I said, like this is working into the context of like navigating the minor inconveniences, working through a lot of things that feel like they energetically compound upon the self. Everything I keep on seeing in relationality to a lot of that energy has to do with I keep on seeing like the space by which we articulate upon like what we effectively, like what our effective energetic priorities are. And so that's what I keep on feeling like for a lot of the energy. I would not be surprised right now if there's energy deep within divine union helping other energy through this retrograde cycle by being able to articulate upon feeling energetically grounded within it, is what I keep on seeing. Right? Because for a lot of the energy doing that work, being able to look at things with a sense of energetic proportionality, right? Being able to focus upon what the energetic priorities are. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, It's like I would not be surprised if this is energy that is both building into that state of working towards something that feels foundational within the context of the self, or simultaneously helping others through it with a lot of this pentacle, like a lot of this pentacle energy that we're seeing. But that's why we're seeing that with a lot of the energy, like working through all of that pentacle energy, it's like I keep on seeing it's like helping through the emotionality of the retrograde, but being able to build sense into it. So it's almost like a lot of the communication of what I'm articulating that they're potentially trying to share to others. Bottom of the deck on this reading, there you go. We've got more pentacle energy, which is we've got the Eight of Pentacles in its upright. I want to describe, there's something really important that we're seeing in relationality to like working through a lot of the emotionality of what we're experiencing that has to do with the conversation on what feels energetically productive, if what I keep on seeing. And what do we mean by productivity? And this is what we articulate. Something that is energetically productive, as it were, is the space by which we don't experience or work through something that is energetically marginal, so long as we articulate upon what it is that we're trying to do in a greater way. Now, for a lot of the energy I'm keep on seeing, like within the expanse of like the retrograde and the eclipse happening simultaneously, it can feel like a lot of things coming at you all at once. That's the best way I can kind of describe it. Right? I told you, it's like, it's not just one thing. It's like a lot of things on top of each other, as it were. And so one of the things that we kind of work to identify or recognize has to do in being able to recognize what feels energetically productive, like something that another can do in a better way, versus those experiences where it feels, I keep on getting, and this is what I mean about working through chirality lessons at the same time that we're experiencing Mercury in Virgo during Virgo season. Because it's not that we create perfect, right? We look towards situations and we work to try to build them into the space of being energetically perfect. But when we are, I keep on hearing like when we're overly perfecting upon things, right? Then we get dispassionate if something isn't energetically perfect, right? And that's what I meant in relationality to identifying and working through the emotions that may come up during this retrograde eclipse cycle in terms of helping to identify what feels like it's energetically productive. And when we're working towards something that feels energetically productive, it's the identification point of where we want to put that work, right? If it's something that happens within, something that we can do in a better way, or if it's something that happens without. And I keep on hearing the things that can be resolved or worked upon are always active conversations, right? It's the space by which one observes what is effectively occurring in order to be able to do something in a better way. And that's why I keep on seeing that one of the difficulties of a retrograde like this is the observation of potentially working towards someone or something that is overly internalizing upon the energy instead of observing the fact that the energy is the way it is. Because I keep on hearing that like when you're having a conversation with someone in terms of the fact that the energy is intense, but they're over internalizing, it doesn't allow the space of being able to have a productive conversation, is what I keep on getting. So I feel like, if you yourself are experiencing or working through something in that way, the best way to kind of navigate through it is asking questions, right? Being able to identify and recognize the energetic logic of something helps us to effectively identify like what it is that we want to do better versus something that we're healing from. So I keep on seeing like it's not it's continue to remember that honoring the space of emotions is being able to talk about why one is emotional about something, right? It's the space by which we can articulate upon how we feel that fortifies the emotions in terms of being able to improve upon something or helping us determine where the work needs to go, right? Because if we are articulating upon something that's energetically bothering us, but there's not something another person could do to heal that or do something in a different way, then that often can be the space by which we recognize that that's something that we need to work on within. So make sure that you're having those productive conversations in relationality to this energy. Make sure that you're bringing that force of compassion to things, but most importantly, also make sure that you're bringing that force of compassion to the self. Remember, perfect is not something that we demand of the self. Perfect is something that we strive for within the self. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and sharing in these messages. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and let you and tell you I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Tower card. Our next class will be held on Thursday, September 18th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the star card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. You'll not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you a recap on everything we studied before we enter our next class. But the material is there if you want to receive those classes before we start. You've got some time this week. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned or studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my stack, not only will you have a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also have access to you'll also have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. That is access to over 17 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. I also want to let you guys know that on top, you'll also find my Mystic Meditation articles there, which will let you know about you'll also let you know about what we've been seeing energetically in article form. I just released one recently on navigating this full moon energy. I'll be releasing one shortly on the new moon we've got coming up. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.